Giving birth to baby is the most pious and beautiful experience in the world. After 9 months of long wait, mother gets to see a tiny baby who becomes her world forever. But imagine if immediately after birth, baby is separated from mother. And mother is not even allowed to feed her baby. It can be hard to imagine today, but decades back this practice was prevalent. Babies were separated from the time of birth and were deprived of their right to mother's milk. There were voices of change which opposed this and stood against this, asking the big whys. Why mother and baby are separated after birth? Why baby is not breastfed immediately after birth? Why babies are recommended formula feed?
When I was working as a doctor in Jalandhar in the government hospital and found that a lot of babies suffering from diarrhea. For me it was a bit unusual. A lot of babies coming with these illnesses and they were on bottle feeding and consuming commercial baby foods.
Dr. Arun Gupta, a man who voiced against the culture of separating mothers and babies.
A little investigation led to that all these hospitals in Jalandhar actually were being supplied free formula by the baby food companies, most commonly the Nestle. During the same period, my daughter and son was born and our hospital doctors pushed us to give formula, both of us being doctors, but we were not able to follow the right practice of breastfeeding, and by the time 6 months, both my children, they actually had to give up breastfeeding. So that was something which was startling for me.
He fought for mother and child's breastfeeding right, saving many precious lives.
We need to stop this aggressive marketing, promotional techniques of the companies.
For curbing the clever marketing strategies of baby food industry and to protect breastfeeding, Breastfeeding Promotion Network of India, BPNI, was incorporated in 1991.
I worked with a global group called International Baby Food Action Network. In 1989, the first international meeting at Manila, and that's how the idea of BPNI was conceptualized during those meetings, which finally became a reality in 1991.
After undeterred efforts and age-long fight, it was in 1992 when the first victory came and a law was enacted in India to ban baby food promotion for children up to 2 years.
I would call it the first battle won in 1992 when India got a law, and we started monitoring that law and put pressure on the companies that they should behave.
BPNI works on 3 paradigms of protection, promotion and support for breastfeeding.
One of the major aim of BPNI was to actually check the companies. So that was one thing which BPNI was set up. Then several other works BPNI started doing for promotion of breastfeeding, for example, in the hospitals, at workplaces, asking more maternity leave for women. But the prime aim was to actually put an end to the marketing strategies of baby food companies.
Through its various programs in the last year itself, BPNI has touched the lives of more than 50,000 mothers and babies.
BPNI is a valued partner of the Government of India. They invite us to talk about nutrition, talk about breastfeeding policy. Like Prime Minister has a council in which we are a member. We also look into whole of Asia. Like we are coordinating this work for around 50 countries in Asia. BPNI has developed a wonderful training course, which is like a world-class training course to increase the skills of health workers. We are popularizing that in different countries. Now, BPNI is a part of a global network which is operating in 166 countries. And recently we have also launched a program called World Breastfeeding Trends Initiative, which was conceptualized in BPNI, now operating in 107 countries. And this is something which BPNI is very proud of. BPNI is also operating as a regional office for Asia for the same network. That's an important thing that BPNI is doing. And this international collaboration helps BPNI to put its views forward on a stronger footing.
The world today is witnessing an unprecedented acceleration of baby formula consumption. Taking an example of China, which has a huge market for baby food, the sale of baby food there is increasing rapidly as there is no law to control it. whereas in India, the sale of baby food is controlled because of IMS Act that came into force due to efforts by BPNI in the past. But in spite of strict law in India, baby food companies are still constantly finding new ways to influence pregnant and lactating women to increase their product sales.
We were able to achieve a lot of stopping advertisements, promotions, but companies have been using clever techniques now. They like e-marketing and the Facebook and others.
In the decades-long journey, BPNI has come a long way in developing a fundamentally strong society.
One of the major difficulties we face is that the continued pressure of companies even once called for a law to be repealed. And we had to fight tooth and nail and then finally to get the law back, so that we don't want to lose this law for the people of India, which is a huge protection which might benefit next generation. We are putting breastfeeding as a part of the social development.
BPNI is not just an organization, but a movement which needs unflinching involvement and support of the society to fight for saving our children's future.
BPNI is actually building a movement which is going to benefit the society. So BPNI expects that society also contributes to the movement. We have very limited resources in terms of funding or in terms of human resources. Like 10 people who work in this office, who have the technical background, these are the 10 people who are working throughout the countries, and the limited resources we have, we manage in that resources because we want to rely more on the government action which will reach a large number of people. And we have a very serious ethical funding policy. We don't take money from the commercial sources, for example. That limits our funding.
Breastfeeding is natural, safe and healthy. It cannot be replaced by artificial or processed food. Breastfeeding can prevent millions of babies from infant deaths due to diarrhea and pneumonia, impaired development, as well as reduce the risk for diabetes, hypertension, cancer and cardiac diseases in adult life.
If people contribute to this, they will get fundamentally strong communities which are sound, healthy, and the kids grow smarter, they are very productive. The recent studies even tell that they can earn more when they grow up.
Let us pledge a happy and healthy future for our children, because babies need mom-made, not man-made. Let the nature nurture its creation.